Welcome back to Workplace 30. We're going to continue on with Chapter 6, starting with Roots of Math on page 230. Look at the seahorse motif. What shape was tessellated to create the image? So actually, what he did is he created parallelogram shaped with those designs in them and just continued to tessellate that shape. What transformations did he use? Okay, to get from there to the next seahorse, he would have had to use translations. So he slid them. He also would have had to rotate 180 degrees. Then today we're moving on to 6.2, which is titled Multiple Transformations, starting with Math on the Job on page 231. So for Math on the Job on page 231, we have Paul who's designing a pinwheel logo for his clients. He starts with one arm here, as shown, and wants to rotate the arm 90, 180, and 270 degrees. So here are your rules that are listed for 90, 180, and 270 degrees. These you should have got from your video that I uploaded previous to this. So your new coordinates then, if we have 0 and 6 and we're transforming at 90 degrees, we swap the numbers. So we get 6 and 0, and the second term is going to be negative. So negative 0. Negative 0, again, not possible. So it actually is just 6 and 0. Then we have 3 and 3. So again, we flip the coordinates, which is still 3 and 3, and the second term is negative. Last, we have 0 and 0, so we flip them, 0 and 0. Last term is negative, but we can't have a negative 0. So then what you could do is on your 90, we can plot these new points for your 90-degree rotation. So now we have 6 and 0, which is right there, 3 and negative 3, and 0 and 0. So your new arm of your pinwheel would be right here. That's your 90-degree one. Try the other two on your own. So check your answers on the board and it should look just like this. Okay, then we're going to move on to explore the math on page 231. Make sure you read that. Your steps for this section are to always choose which transformation you're going to do first and then perform that transformation, and then choose the one you're going to do second and perform that transformation, and so on. So what that means is you're just going to make sure you're only doing one transformation at a time. And I realized I forgot to do part B for Math on the Job, so please go back to this, part B. Part B says he wants the logo to be dilated by a scale factor of 1 over 3. So that means he's going to be making it smaller. Because if your scale factor is a fraction, that means your shape is getting smaller. So they're saying that 1 unit on the coordinate plane is 1 centimeter. So the original pinwheel is a total of 12 centimeters long. Now if the new one is going to be 1/3 of that, what will your new logo be? So we have 12 as our original. Now there's two ways of doing this. You could times it by 1/3 because that's your scale factor and get your new one would be actually only 4 centimeters wide. Your other option is to set up a proportion. So you know that 12 is the larger of the two. So it's going to go on the bottom with the 3. Then you could cross multiply, and here you'd also find that x equals 4 centimeters. So either of those options would be correct. So then we're moving on to example 1 on page 232. Miguel is a contractor building a backyard patio for his clients. He drew a scale diagram of the design that he has planned. What are the coordinates of the patio if the origin is at the easternmost vertex of the hot tub? So here's your origin at 0 and 0. You want to find the coordinates of A, B, C, and D. So your original coordinates should be here as shown in red. Then it says he wants to rotate the patio 90 degrees. So we're going to make another column for our little table here, and these will be called A prime. So we now need to rotate each of these at 90 degrees. Remember that when you rotate 90 degrees, your x and y coordinate changes to y and negative x. So for A, it's going to become 3 and negative 1. Go through then all of the next rotations. Then our last step, it says to move 1 unit to the right and 3 units up. So that means you're moving +1 on your x-axis and +3 on your y-axis. So for A, we're going to add 1 to our x value to get 4, 3 to our y value to get 2. For B, and we call this B double prime because it's our second transformation, we're going to again add 1 onto the x to get 8, add 3 onto the -5 to get -2. So go ahead and finish this. So the new coordinates of your patio would be here in red, your final transformation. Now, make sure that you're always performing the transformation on the previous column. So when you're translating, you were adding 1 and adding 3 onto the ones in the green column. When you're rotating the numbers in the red column. Okay, so you're always doing the one before. Okay, next, example 2. We have Agnes designing the layout of a special insert that will be included in a newspaper. Here we have the folds in the newspaper are your X and your Y axis. She wants to place photo B, so that is a reflection of photo A. So that is our first transformation. We're reflecting photo B, so that's a reflection of photo A over the Y axis. Now it might be a little hard to see on your sheet, so have a look at this smartboard instead. So we counted how many units it is to the y-axis. It's 8 units. So we go another 8 units to our first corner and draw photo B. But then she decides that it would actually look better if the right corner of photo B were at 7 and 5. So now we're going to take this right corner and move it from there to 7 and 5. So 7 on the X, and 5 up. So it's going to be located right there. So we need to figure out what translation this is to translate on all of them. So when we look at to go from this bottom right hand corner to the coordinate 7 and 5, we move down 1 and left 4. So you could write this as x moved -4 and y moved -1. Now we need to come up with our final coordinates of photo B. So the final coordinates, if that's the bottom corner, would be right there. That would be like our B prime. So determine those coordinates. So check to make sure that you counted the same coordinates that I did. Then, to finish off today, we have an assignment. You're going to first do your transformation worksheets. I uploaded that to the Moodle, titled just that, 6.2 Transformations Worksheet, and that says multiple transformations. Then you're going to do page 238, number 1 and 2.